That means I have a lot of video editing to do.
Yep.
On the plus side, that's your problem.
Yep. Your job.
Yep.
Believe me, I've been there. Oh, we're back.
We're back. We're back.
We're back in the saddle again. Here we go.
All right.
Yeah, we've been talking, just messing around while we were down having technical difficulties. I apologize for that, ladies and gentlemen. So, where were we as far as virtual reality? I lost my place. All right, let's discuss maybe games that you would like to see with virtual reality. Maybe games that you would like to see kind of test the waters with virtual reality, and maybe some experiences that you would like in virtual reality. Let's start with Iceberg this time.
Well, I definitely. Okay. So I think the easy game. I mean, we already kind of seen it with the game that CCP had put out. You know, basically your space shooters where you're sitting in your cockpit. You don't really have to move. Any kind of flight sim. You know, where you're not really moving. Just you have tactile control. I think that's the perfect fit for VR, right? But other than that, like just incorporating MMOs into it. I don't think like first-person shooters, but just like your old-fashioned sword and sorcery MMO. You know, just give that little extra point of immersion. You know, your third or your first-person immersion. You know, so I think that's where I see it. You know, just some exploration with it like that. That's kind of where I am at. You know, I want to see some exploration games, MMO type style, where you're interacting with other people. You see them coming, you bump into them. You know, and you're bumping right into their face, and you're like, "Hey, that's my face," and you're like, "Right, I'm in your face. Get out of my face!" And you're sitting there like trying to back up, and they're trying to get right in your face, and it's really just kind of annoying. Yeah. And second thought, I don't know about that anymore. I'm just kidding. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, like seriously, the MMO first person exploratory style game, I think.
Okay, Rage.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like even a racing game actually wouldn't be too bad because you would be in a cockpit, so you wouldn't have to be moving around in the room.
Oh, yeah. It would just basically great setups for racing games.
Yeah, it would be basically you just looking left and right and watching anybody that's coming around. So I think that would be a perfect setup. But yeah, same thing, adventure type game.
Rogue Squadron.
Oh, that would be so good. That would be so good. Or even like
you're welcome, EA.
They could input with No Man's Sky. Like
I was about to say,
traveling in between, like that would be a perfect setup for that.
Yeah. I was about to say No Man's Sky as a nice platform for that, because
it would be perfect for it.
You have another, I believe it's 5-6 months until No Man's Sky hits the shelves, because it does have a June release date, not a specific date in June, but they just said June 2016. So we're looking forward to that, but that's 6 months. That's 6 months of having the Morpheus there, being able to code for the Morpheus with that game. I was a beta tester for that, and it would go hand in hand with a game like No Man's Sky. It really would, because it's exploration. You're in a cockpit half the time. The other half, you're exploring the world. You're looking around. I mean, both applications suit itself so well to virtual reality. For augmented reality in the way of the Microsoft HoloLens, I see that as more of a possible application instead of gaming. Like you have like the Minecraft app for HoloLens. You have, a second screen experience possibly where you can pull up a HUD on your HoloLens as you're playing a game. Instead of having the HUD on the TV, you can have the HUD on your glasses.
Yeah, and I think the same thing would be, it's kind of along that same lines as doing virtual tours or self-guided tours. It's just like, all of a sudden it'd be like pop-up video. Everybody remember pop-up video? Where you're walking down the street,
video.
And then like all of a sudden it pops up. This famous person died right on this corner. Just and then just play some music or something. I don't know.
Hey, but idiot! The gun is right there.
you know you're old when you remember VH1's pop-up video.
Oh man, goodness. I missed that show. That show was great. Anyway, okay.
It was great actually. I have no comments on that besides greatness. But
But I mean the like the Nintendo 3DS, they've got those card things that they would put down, and you pop the camera over top of it. And it would basically do that same thing, a HoloLens, but you're seeing it through the actual 3DS.
Right.
So that's pretty much, it's just a better form, I'm guessing, of that technology. But it's cool, but you still have to have everything focused on a certain area, or you lose the whole image. So that, I don't know how that would be set up for. Again, that would be a streaming nightmare, because what cameras do you have to buy to be able to see what you're seeing on your HoloLens?
Well, I think maybe that may be an evolution of the technology. I mean, really depending on the demand, of course, because they did that. I mean, that's what they did essentially with
that
the
tech was
demonstration. Yeah, the tech is there, but I mean, obviously, it's going to be a little bit too expensive in the near future, anyway, to make it a viable streaming application. So of all of them, I don't think you're going to see anything with augmented reality. Virtual reality, I think that, again, it would have to be a completely different experience than what we're expecting Twitch to be.
Yeah, I don't think it would be useful for Twitch at all, because you wouldn't be able to keep in touch with your audience.
Well, it depends, man. I mean, because if it's, again, and again, there's a lot of ifs, but I mean, if you were looking at, you could have, your chat right on your screen. Again, I don't know how that'd work, but I'm sure that technology could be implemented. Or, you could simply, it'd be a situation where they have their own virtual reality headset that they're plugged into, and they're just watching you do your thing. And
yeah,
so I mean, there's
yep.
applications. I mean, we're probably a decade or more away from a serious applications. Otherwise, I think at the beginning, all it's going to be is you're going to see the two different eyes or whatever, on the screen, and then you're going to see a camera with the guy just looking around. He, can't really talk to you, or he can talk to you, but you can't really interact so much with him. So yeah, as far as for a Twitch streamer, it's going to be, there's going to be top streamers that are going to really benefit from it, I think, at first, like in the first month or so. But it's going to be difficult to break into Twitch as a virtual reality streamer.
No, I think the first generation of this is going to be just like the PlayStation Eye and the Xbox Kinect sensor. It's going to be gimmicky for about 6 months, and then you're not going to talk about it.
Yeah,
and that's what it's going to be. And then that VR technology is going to go into other means out in the world, and gaming is just going to wash their hands from it until the next iteration of it. But it's going to be definitely more useful outside of gaming than it will be in gaming right now.
Oh, definitely. And to touch on something that Iceberg said, I do think it's going to benefit the top streamers more than the bottom streamers, because the top streamers can't exactly interact with 12,000 people in their chat anyway.
Yeah.
So the interactivity is already segmented when it comes to that. Now, when it comes to bottom streamers and smaller streamers, you'd actually have to have somebody either with you to tell you what somebody's saying in chat or whatnot so you can interact with it. Or you would have to have channel moderators that are just on point throughout your entire broadcast.
Yeah, just
being
everything.
Able to answer questions for the chat and having it go that way. I would take the first option over the second one. I'd rather have somebody next to me reading off some of the key points in chat so I can interact with them instead of just chat moderators and me not talking to the chat at all.
I would just want my chat moderator to only tell me the negative stuff. Only tell me the trolls comments.
There
That's
you go.
it. Nothing else.
Your head's too bold.
You look like a moron.
But do I see a future in virtual reality with streaming? Not as much. I think there will be a small select community around virtual reality streaming. But it's going to be really hard to find and really hard to kind of gather that community following, because there's going to be different games for this. And Twitch doesn't separate it by Xbox One, PS4, or any virtual reality platform you might be playing on. They separate it by game. So maybe people
there's going to be somebody, though, that's going to figure out a way to create content, live content that's compelling. Somebody's going to figure it out. And that person who figures it out, even if they're not a top streamer now or even a top streamer in 5 years, well, whoever figures that out is, going to make, I think is going to do really well monetarily. And there's going to be a lot of people, right on those coattails trying to do the same thing. But somebody's going to figure it out. Somebody's going to find the key. It's not going to be anything. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. if you do it, I'm all behind you, Monstrous Rage. And I'm along for the ride, right, buddy? I was here first. I was here, right? Encouraging you, right?
You guys ready? We're gonna ride a roller coaster.
But there's some smart people.
I want royalties.
It's gonna work out for somebody. But yeah, it's gonna be a really difficult road. Twitch is gonna be different as from what we know it now. In that regard, it's not gonna be the same thing that we're doing now. But somebody's gonna figure it out. It's hard to think about how it's gonna work right now.
Right. And I wanted to touch on another use of augmented reality as far as the HoloLens goes. I mentioned this in actually episode 1 of the loading screen, where I had 30 and Still Gaming and One Got a Gun on, and we were talking about a little bit of HoloLens and whatnot. We just mentioned it briefly, but I felt the same way as I feel now. There's going to be 2 types of games that I feel that could really benefit from the HoloLens, and that would be real-time strategy, like StarCraft, where you have the entire map on a table, and you play it like a chess match. And the other is MOBAs, like League of Legends and Dota, where
absolutely.
you can see all 3 lanes and you can adjust correctly.
Yep.
No, I think you're hitting it right on the head. That's exactly where it's going to go. It's going to be basically taking the tabletop and making it interactive, an online game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
Dungeons and Dragons is going to be a huge success.
Well, Dungeons and Dragons, any of the card games, even your even like Hearthstone right now could be turned into a regular tabletop game. It's still digital. Right. You don't have the physical cards necessarily, but it's. I think that's definitely what's going to be one really good use for that technology. And by the way, I did just come up with a really great idea of how somebody could make virtual reality work on Twitch, and I'm not going to talk about it on air.
Okay.
I'll talk to you after we go off air, because I don't want to give anybody my ideas.
Okay. But when you guys said card games and whatnot, I think poker. What about online poker using this peripheral, sitting down at a table, and there's a dealer somewhere who deals out the virtual cards, but it's an actual person that you can talk to, kind of like a Vegas dealer, where you can have online casinos. In that regard, having a virtual peripheral to play and not have to walk into a casino to play blackjack against other people or play Texas Hold'em, and you could see, the cards that are coming out, and you can kind of feel like you're there without actually having to be there. I think that might be another way to do it. Also, I would like to see something like messages, like maybe a message service with the HoloLens, where you could, scroll out a piece of paper and handwrite something and pass it as a message, like as a text message, and have something come in along those lines. Yeah. There's a lot of different possibilities with the HoloLens as far as augmented reality goes that I am actually really excited for, especially, like I said, real-time strategy I think is really going to benefit from it if they decide to use it. Same with what did I say? Dota, League of Legends, the MOBAs. There we go, MOBAs. Even Overwatch, I believe, would be really good with that. But I think that having that kind of advantage of being able to sit back and look at everything instead of only what a monitor can provide you would make a huge advantage for at least the top tier competitive people to play. And then you have your card games like your Pokemon and your Yu-Gi-Oh card games where you could have, the HoloLens read the image on the card and be able to transmit to somebody else, what kind of card they're playing and whatnot.
Creature or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, Magic the Gathering and whatnot as well.
Yep.
We already talked about some of the disadvantages with VR. I'm going to talk into the financial disadvantages for VR. One, of course, the price of the peripheral itself. Nothing's going to be cheaper than $100. We already know that because the Samsung one that fits the S5 and S6 is already $99, and it's basically a glorified phone case for your face. I'm coining that term.
Take that, Samson.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it is,
They're
really.
not to be sponsoring you, buddy.
This video is not brought to you by Samsung. But that's basically what it is in a way.
If you want to sponsor my stream, Samsung,
Yep,
I have one of your phones. See, I got it right here.
I'll test it. I'm all
Just
good.
saying.
Actually, bring that VR. I'll test that. I'm all good.
Yeah, give me the VR. I'll give you a
Listen
great,
to this guy over there.
a positive review. I mean, an honest review.
All right, Machinima. All right. So is there anything else that you guys want to bring up as far as augmented reality or virtual reality? The price point, of course, is going to be about $200 to $300, depending on which one you get. Plus, you're going to need a sizable space in order to use it. It's really going to be for that niche crowd that really wants to experience being in the game or being in that virtual reality world, or being able to create with your hands in Minecraft with an augmented reality experience. So, is there any other points that you guys want to bring up as far as virtual reality goes?
Well, I think that if they had the two headsets set up with the consoles themselves at the start, that would have brought more attention to it. But now that it is being brought out now and the consoles have been out for a while, like you said, it is going to be a small knit group that are going to purchase these. And I don't think that's going to be enough money to sustain the game companies to continue forth with the project. And that's what scares me, is that they'll just quash it and then that'll be it. It'll be another Game Boy. What was it?
Virtual Boy.
Virtual Boy.
Yeah.
Another Virtual Boy. Hey, look, it's a black screen, and look, there's red lights. Fantastic, and it's down over there. Ooh.
Yeah. Well, I think
it's
it's
another one of those things.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, it could too. Would be that you talk about having being a pack-in or something like that, and that could be a direction one of these companies takes for the next generation or a generation after. Eventually as the technology gets kind of hashed out. But and in all seriousness, though, I think one of the biggest boons for this is going to be simply, and this is no joke, but the adult industry. I said it before. I said before, this is going to be what the video cassette was, the adult industry before.
Yeah.
I think that's where you're going to see the biggest use of this technology.
Now, I can see the adult industry.
I don't know. I'm pretty excited for that. How about you guys?
Now I can see
a better society. Let's all watch naked people.
I can't actually see that, because we did have the race just not that long ago with HD DVD and Blu-ray. The adult industry went Blu-ray. Guess who won? Blu-ray. Yeah. Now I can see that happening with virtual reality. Now I could see that being more towards an Oculus Rift more than a HoloLens, only because it's augmented reality and you're going to want virtual reality.
Right. Yeah.
So I could see that going more for an
it could be, I don't know. Yeah, I think maybe more virtual reality, because you can have more immersion. You can have a whole exotic, location.
He's putting this all in his head right now. He's thinking it all, and he's like, "What can I open? What can I sell?"
If I had the means, I'd be a rich man in 10 years.
A 30-year-old man at that.
Oh, I would.
Angry, I'm so glad I know you, sir. Make that
reality.
Money.
Yeah.
Well, if there's any other points that you guys want to make, let's go ahead and make them now, and then we'll go ahead and wrap it up.
Yeah, no, I think I've covered what I wanted to say about it. I mean, I think it's definitely good for the medical industry, and I think they really need to pursue that end of it. But yeah, as for games, it's gimmick. It's a gimmick, and that's pretty much what it is for the current generation.
Yeah, and to kind of just to add on to that point, I think it's just this technology is going to be used in a way that we haven't even thought of yet. There's going to be people way smarter than us that's going to figure out a way to really make this technology take off. So, whether it's going to be, there's going to be some gaming applications, but, I don't think that's going to be the be-all, end-all of this technology. So,
Right. I tend to agree. That's 3 yeses from the judges here. You have moved on. Here's your golden ticket. But I honestly think that it's going to be more useful in a third-party application than it ever will be for gaming. I just don't think that we're there yet. We've made leaps and bounds since the Virtual Boy, but the Virtual Boy was also a commercial failure. I don't think all of the VR sets will be commercial failures, but I think that they're going to be used by a specific community. And that's what the community will be, because you're not going to see that many games developed specifically for the Oculus. You're not going to see that many games specifically developed for the Morpheus, because you just cut your targeted consumers, by 90%.
And to touch just briefly on that, Kadex, a perfect example is the Xbox One Kinect sensor.
Mm-hmm.
When the Xbox One first came out, it was packaged in. You had no choice. You had to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
But back then, they were also making games for the Kinect. As soon as the Kinect sensor was unpackaged, where'd the games go?
Gone.
They're gone. There's nothing. There hasn't been anything. They did a little bit with the Forza where you could actually use your hands to steer.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, there's pretty much nothing out there that relies on the Kinect sensor for the tool for your game.
Just
Nothing.
Dance.
And just on that point, I don't know, to add to that point, I actually disconnected my Kinect this week. I had it up since, for the 2 years since I've had the Xbox One. And just this week, I was like, you know what? I don't use this. I don't need it. The only thing, if you've watched my stream, about the only thing it does is piss me off when I say the word Xbox, and all of a sudden, when I'm not even trying to get its attention, then I have to be like, stop listening. Any other time, I'm like, Xbox, turn on, or Xbox, turn off. It could give a fuck, man. Anyway.
Well, Angry, just when you're playing your Destiny streams and you're doing it on Xbox One, do yourself a favor, as a little joke to yourself. At the end of broadcast, say this every time. And remember, Xbox, turn off. Yes. And then turn off your stream.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Now, we'll go ahead and close this up, guys. So let's once again say who you are, where you're from, and how we can find you. We'll start with Monsterous Rage.
All right, guys, it's pretty simple. I stream every day of the week and every day of the week and every other week, 6 days a week. Streaming games on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Wii U, Wii. You guys get it. A lot of different consoles. Dabbling on PC, but not much. So basically console based. But if you want to come on in. I'm a variety broadcaster. There's no game that I stick with constantly. I bounce around quite a bit. But people come into my channel not really for the game that I'm playing, but more of my personality. And that's what I bring to the table. You can find me at Monsterous Rage. Just all one word. You can find me on Twitter at Monsterous Rage G. And I don't advertise myself properly, people. I'm terrible at it. Come over to my channel and push the follow button. Do it. Angry?
Of course, Angry Iceberg. I am a daily Destiny streamer. And like I said before, about 3 times a week or so, I'll stream a game or two of NHL 15, or 16 rather. I'm 16 now. But other than that, it's daily Destiny, helping you out with your raids and your PvPs and all that fun stuff, and just hanging out and shooting the bull. You can find me on twitch.tv/angry_iceberg. Also, you can find me on Twitter at angry_iceberg. Also on the Facebooks, we do have the Facebook page. You can and get all the news and when I'm going on and stuff like that at The Angry Iceberg. So facebook.com/The Angry Iceberg. And we also do have a community page for the Major Ragers. Or should I do that right? The Major Ragers.
Nice.
which you can find a link on my Twitch page. There is a link there for the clan. You can join my Bungie clan. If you are into Destiny, you're welcome to do that as well. And also, you can find me occasionally on iHeartRadio on KCAD, especially Saturday mornings. If you tune in Saturday mornings between 8 o'clock Eastern and about 2 o'clock Eastern, or should I say 10 o'clock Eastern till about 1 o'clock Eastern, depending on when I get up and actually decide to leave. Anyway, so the point is, those are the ways you can find me. So come hang out, hit that follow button, and, let's have some fun together.
There you go.
In a non-creepy way.
As the living emote just kind of... Well, I am Kadex Gaming, Twitch stream dedicated to helping you in-game and in life. I have been charity streaming for about 3.5 months now. I'm going into my 4th month now. Been streaming a lot of Fallout, having a lot of fun. I will be changing up games probably first of the year. I'll probably be streaming Fallout all through December because I love Fallout. It's big. But you can find me right here at twitch.tv/KDexGaming. You can also find me on Twitter at twitter.com/KDexGaming. And there will soon to be a KDex Gaming website where I will be posting blogs every other day. And, of course, if you're seeing this on YouTube, you can find me right here, youtube.com/KDexGaming. You'll be able to find me. If you search for KDex Gaming, that is, you can find me right there. Drywit is in the chat saying Fallout hype. I indeed agree. But for Monsterous Rage and for Angry Iceberg, my name is Kadex Gaming. This is the loading screen. And as always, everybody, keep calm and game on.
See ya.